What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Legit Whiskey Reviews. And today I'll be reviewing Larceny Barrel Proof. This is B522. This one comes in at 123.8 proof, so that is 61.9% ABV. All right, good one today. So when it comes to Larceny, just a regular Larceny, I'm like a lot of people where they don't care too much for the Larceny. That's me. Like, it just doesn't, as far as like my palate and the way I enjoy my whiskeys, just that one doesn't hit my palate right. So just a regular Larceny, I've never been a big fan of, and I rarely keep it here. But when it comes to Larceny Barrel Proof, the few batches I have tried throughout the years since they came out, for the most part, I've really enjoyed. This is a wheated mash bill, a wheated bourbon. So the secondary grain, of course, is wheat instead of rye. And this comes out of the Heaven Hill distillery. As we all know, Heaven Hill, they release many different types of whiskey, Elijah Craig, and many others. So they also released the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, which I also enjoy. As far as this one also releases 3 times a year, the A, the B, and the C batch. And typically, as far as my area, I do see these pop up every now and then. I feel like they're pretty limited, but they do show up on shelves. You just got to catch it at the right moment. But I do find in my area a lot of places jack up the prices. I've seen them anywhere from $80 to $100, and retail on this normally should be $60. I lucked out. I was able to pick this up for $65, so I feel pretty lucky, because like I said, other places around my area, when they do have them in stock, they're jacked up pretty high. So I lucked out there. So yeah, like I said, this is I tried the A batch from this year, the A122. I enjoyed it. It wasn't my favorite batch, but it was. I feel like it was pretty solid. I did also try the B batch from last year, and that one I really enjoyed. I was a big fan of that one, and I do have a review on that one on my channel from last year. So I can't wait to get into this one. Like I said, 123.8 proof, non-age stated, so should be a good one. Let's get into it. All right. So this has a good combination of like fruity, but also like thick, creamy caramel in here. There's a ton of caramel, which is probably the primary note coming through. So yeah, just like a ton of caramel. And yeah, that is kind of like a common note in whiskeys, but this one is like amped up. This is like on an extra level, extremely creamy and caramel. And then I'm picking up like a red fruit. I'm getting a little bit of apple, but like cherry as well, which is a good combination. This one has the fruitiness, but it also has like that caramel, that nice creamy caramel to go along with it. I'm getting like a cherry, apple, some cinnamon, definitely some cinnamon coming through. I feel like as far as the A batch from this year and this batch here, I feel like more spice was coming through on the A batch of this year, but this one is more like subdued as far as it comes to the spice coming through, but definitely amped up with the red fruits, and then with the caramel note coming through, and a lot of cinnamon as well. Yeah, that cinnamon note is coming through pretty nice. There's a good amount of oak, not overpowering. I feel like that oak note is a little bit on the sweet side. But yeah, it's really nice. I love how well-rounded it smells on the nose. Ton of caramel, like I said, fruity. Not like super over the top fruity, but there's like a lot of fruit notes coming through in here, along with the cinnamon and a little bit of oak. And there is some like, so a little bit of black pepper coming through as well, like a pepper note. But yeah, as far as the overall nose, I really like this one. This is actually one of my favorite noses from the Larceny Barrel Proof that I've tried. But let's go to the palate. Cheers. This is beautiful. So it clings to the palate, coats the palate completely. Very sweet on the palate as well. I feel like those fruit notes that I was getting come through on the palate as well. That caramel note, again, is at the forefront, for me at least. It's definitely coming through on the nose and the palate. That's like the main primary note, I feel like, for this batch this year. Very well rounded. That cinnamon note as well is coming through. Also a lot of spice on the palate, more than I was picking up on the nose, so that's a nice surprise. I enjoy my spicy whiskeys. I still don't feel like it's as spicy as the A batch, but I feel like this one is more balanced than the A batch. Definitely I do enjoy that spice coming through on the back end of the palate. Nice long finish. With a little bit of like pepper and a little bit of chocolate coming through on the finish. Just beautiful, excellent, everything you look for, and not only a wheated bourbon, but just a bourbon overall. Just definitely doing good so far. All right. I feel like when you let it sit in the glass, that wheated mash bill definitely comes to the forefront when you let it sit in the glass. I'm getting like those, like a little bit of like a bready type note coming through now. Yeah, and I was expecting, just it being Heaven Hill, I was expecting some of that Heaven Hill nuttiness, whether it be like a peanut or an almond, but for some reason, I'm not getting that as much on this B batch. I feel like now, this second time around, it's trying to come out, but I'm getting maybe like a little bit of like a peanut butter note, but I feel like it's more like caramel, creamy, like it's on that side more. But I feel like the nuttiness doesn't come through. I didn't get it on the palate or the nose. Yeah, this is really nice. Let's go to the palate again. Yeah, more of the same. I feel like the fruitiness the second time around, those fruit notes that I was getting kind of dropped off. I feel like the pepper, spice, cinnamon is coming over to the forefront now. I'm still getting a little bit of that chocolate note on the finish. But throughout, first sip, second sip, what remains on the nose and the palate consistently is that caramel note. Just very creamy, very caramel forward. And I'm really enjoying like the finish, the spice, the cinnamon, the pepper, just excellent notes, very well rounded, I would say. And that oak note that I was getting on the nose, which wasn't like very prominent, but was there, I feel like I'm getting it more on the palate. I would say it's like a charry, like an oak note. I wouldn't say it's like a sweet oak. I think this one's in the middle as well, as far as sweetness to bitter. I don't think it heads towards the bitter at all, but it doesn't head towards a sweet oak either. It's just like perfect, like right in the middle. So this is super enjoyable. Let me give it one more sip here. Yeah, this is really nice. It just, from sip to sip, and going back to the nose, it's just staying consistent. Just like the main notes that I was getting on the nose and then the palate, I feel like it's just staying consistent. It doesn't drop off or fall off in any way. But like I said, you know, the cinnamon note, the spice, is coming through to the forefront more now than the first sip, but still hanging on and still pretty consistent. Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be in contention for my top whiskeys of the year. It's that good. And I usually can tell when something's gonna be up there for my whiskeys of the year at the end of the year. This one's definitely gonna make the list somewhere, unless other things come up that blow this out of the water. But as far as now in September, of 2022, I feel like this is gonna make the list and my top whiskeys of 2022. But as far as my final score, I'm gonna give this an A+. You know, this is an A+ at $60 or $65. Like I got this, definitely it's a buy, and definitely it's an A+. But I feel like when you go past, you know, like I would even go up, say $80, but that's tough. I feel like $80 is a lot, but anything more than that, I feel like if you've never tried it and you've heard good things about it, I say try it at a bar maybe if you can find it, and then if you like it, then buy it. But for the most part, I feel like at $60 to $65, this is like the sweet spot for this bourbon here. Excellent. I feel like they hit a home run with this B batch. In my opinion, more well-rounded than the A batch from earlier this year. But yeah, I just feel like this is the direction they should keep heading in the future. I know there's the C batch already came out recently. I probably won't see that on shelves for a few months, but if I do see it at all. But if you guys can find this B batch for Larceny, barrel proof, and you get a chance to purchase it at a decent price, I say this is a must buy. But if not, I'd say leave it on the shelf, just because like the prices get jacked up so much. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that like button, make sure you subscribe, and keep it legit and do it for the love of whiskey. Cheers.